Hello everyone, welcome back to another Unity tutorial. If you haven't seen the previous tutorials, go check those out first and then come back to this one. Today, I'm going to show you how players shoot. There are two types of shooting. There's projectile shooting, as you can see here, and there's raycast shooting. Raycast shooting is used in games like Fortnite, CSGO, and most first-person shooters. Projectile shooting is used in Doom for the enemies. Because projectile shooting is easier, in this video I'll explain that. If you want me to cover raycast shooting as well, vote in the poll. Okay, let's start. Okay, to start off we need to change something that I said in the previous video which wasn't really correct. So if we go into here, you can see the camera is inside of the player. But what if I want to have a third person camera? We'll have to do it like this. Now I will angle this camera, but now if we play, the camera won't rotate around the player, it will rotate around itself, and we don't want that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create an empty object, call it cam, and put it on the 0, 0 space of our cube, and put the camera inside of that. Now in the player rotation, instead of giving it the camera, we'll give it the cam object, and now if we play, it will be a lot better. Okay. Now let's get into real tutorial. So we'll create to start off with our weapon, we'll create a cube. We'll call it weapon. Oh, not weapon. Weapon. We'll drag it inside of our player and we'll reset the transform. Now what we'll do is we'll make it smaller, stretch it out a little, like that maybe, and move it to the side like this, so we have like a gun type thing. Now we're gonna create two empty objects, a scope and a range. Scope is just going to be at the end of the gun, and the range is going to be at how far you want to shoot. So if you wanted to shoot like this far, you can do that. But if you want to shoot it like very close to the player, you can also do that, and it won't go farther than that. So if that's done, we're going to create a new script. Call it weapon. Before we open the weapon script, we also need to do something about our player look to move the gun. So what we'll do is we'll go on here, create another public transform called weapon. So this is going to be our gun in this case. And now what we'll do here is we'll just copy this thing here. And instead of camera or cam, we'll do weapon. Like that. Save this. We go into our project. And we don't forget to put a semicolon here. If we play, and we don't forget to add the script here. No, that doesn't matter. Go into here. Here, the weapon. We need to give it the weapon. You can see our weapon will move with the camera. Now, we need to go in and do some things in the weapon. So, first start making a game object, public game object projectile, don't forget the semicolon, public transform, and this is going to be our target. So our target is going to be where it's going to fly against. Then what we're going to do is we're going to do if input.get button down, and then we'll have fire 1, which is our left mouse button. We'll do instantiate our projectile at the position that the weapon script is on. The transform dot position. We'll go in, get the rotation of this thing, and then what we'll do is we'll get a component of this, which we haven't made yet. It's going to be projectile, like that, and it will have a function inside of it, set target. So, and we'll give in the target, like that. So now, if you would run this, this wouldn't do anything, because we don't have a target yet. Yeah, as you can see, I typed it wrong as well. Look here. Projectile doesn't exist yet. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a script projectile, like that. We're going to open that, and we are going to create some variables. We're going to create a target position, like that, and a float speed. Then in we can remove the start one, we don't need that one in this case. If our vector 3 dot distance, so this will create a distance between two vector 3's, which we're going to have the position of the projectile, so transform dot position, and the target position. And this has to be greater or equal to 1. That means that it's closer than 1, basically. So that it's close enough, and then it knows, okay. Then what we'll do is transform dot position to vector 3 dot move towards, and now we need to give it some things. First we need to give it the position that it's currently in, so that's the transform dot position. Then we need to give it the position to go to, and then I need to give it the speed, and we'll do that times time dot delta time, like that. Then we'll give it an else. If it's there yet, so this will look, if it's not there yet, it will move it. If it's there, so otherwise, game object destroyed. So we'll destroy the game object. Now we need to create that function that I was talking about. So let's do void. So we'll create a public. And void is the function that we use. So void is for function. And we'll say set target, which is the exact thing we gave it. We'll give it a parameter called transform. It's a target. So it's the target transform. Target position will be equal to the target dot position. Of course, my typing skills are on point. So now, if we save all of this, we have to do some things on our game object. Of course, I typed destroy wrong. Destroy like that. Nope, don't want that. Okay, so now we're gonna go on our weapon and we're gonna put the weapon script on here. So we need to give it a projectile, but we don't have a projectile yet. So we're going to create a new folder. Prefabs. Unity uses prefabs. Oh, wait, I'll show you. So we'll want to have a sphere here. Just reset the transform to there and move it up a little. So this is going to be our projectile. Of course it's a little big, so we can make it a little smaller to look more like a bullet. Like this is a pretty nice bullet size. Of course you can just like stretch it how you want. Like if you want to have like a rugby ball, you could do that. But we're not gonna do that. We're just gonna take a pretty small ball. And now we're gonna drag it inside of our prefabs folder. We can delete it out of the scene and it will still be here. Now we'll have a trigger sphere collider. We'll have a rigid body, which is kinetic and doesn't have gravity, which is exactly the same basically. And we'll also add our script to it. So if we go into scripts, we can put our projectile script on here. And we can give it a speed like, I think 15 was what I picked. Yes, I picked 15. In the weapon, now we can give it a projectile. And the target, of course, is going to be this. Now I did it wrong, it needs to be on the scope. So you can see the weapon script has to be on the scope. And we'll have a projectile and the range is the range one. As you can see, that one is all the way out here for me. If we run this, normally it should all work. As you can see, we can fire bullets as much as we want. By the way, this laggy rotation is because my computer is skipping frames because I'm recording. As you can see, if we just click very fast, it has an unlimited fire range. So basically, we'll have to cap that by doing some strange things. So let's go back into our scripts. In our weapon script, we need to create some things. We need to create a float time. Make this a non-capital T because otherwise we're gonna be in trouble with time not delta time and we don't want that. We're gonna have a shoot timer. So this is basically how long it takes, it needs to, how big of delay there has to be between the shots. And we'll have a can shoot, will be set to true. Now what we'll do is up here, we'll say if our time is smaller than the shoot time, which means that it's not timed yet, and we cannot shoot yet, so not can shoot, so explanation mark is not cannot. We'll also create our else statement. If it's done with counting, we'll set can shoot to true. Time plus equals time dot delta time. So it will count up every frame. It will count up the amount of seconds it takes between two frames. And here we'll say and can shoot. So if it can shoot. Now we also need to set the time back to 0. And the can shoot back to false. Like that. So if we go into our... Okay, we did it wrong. This needs to be a big T. Don't forget that. And we run it. You can see we can still fire unlimited. Because we forgot to go into our scope. And give it a 0.5 is enough. Because we don't want it to be too slow, but we don't want it to be too fast. So 0.5 is good in this case. So let's look. So we can shoot projectiles out of our gun. You can change the values a bit to make it more or less snappy and more shooty. So yeah, that was it for this tutorial. If it was useful, make sure to like, and if you don't want to miss the next video, subscribe and ring the bell. And yeah, see ya!